No one dared to stop the billionaire CEO beating his pregnant wife until the bikers walked in. The rain fell in soft sheets against the windows of Maggie's Diner, a modest roadside eatery tucked between a gas station and a laundromat on the outskirts of Reno. Inside, the air smelled of coffee, grease, and quiet desperation. It was just past 8 p.m., and the usual crowd, truckers, night shift workers, a few lonely souls nursing lukewarm coffee, sat in silence, eyes down, minding their own business. Then he walked in. Silas Thorne, billionaire tech mogul, cover of Forbes, philanthropist by day, monster in private, strode through the door like he owned the place. His white shirt was soaked at the shoulders, his jaw clenched tight. Behind him, trailing like a ghost, was his wife, Lila. She was 8 months pregnant, her hand resting protectively over her swollen belly, her eyes wide with fear. No one said a word as Silas yanked her into a booth near the window. He slammed his fist on the table, rattling the salt and pepper shakers. "You think I don't see you texting him?" he hissed, voice low but venomous. "After everything I've given you?" Lila flinched. "Silas, please, not here, not now." But he wasn't listening. His hand shot out, grabbing her wrist so hard her knuckles turned white. A few diners glanced up, then quickly looked away. The waitress froze behind the counter. A trucker in the corner shifted uncomfortably, but stayed seated. Fear, apathy, or the unspoken rule of not getting involved, whatever it was, the room chose silence. Then came the slap. It echoed like a gunshot. Lila cried out, tears streaming down her face as she curled into herself, shielding her stomach. Silas leaned in, his voice a guttural snarl. "You're nothing without me. You and that brat inside you, you'll learn your place." That's when the door creaked open, again. 3 men stepped inside, leather jackets creaking, boots heavy on the linoleum. Patches on their backs read, "Hell's Angels, Reno Chapter." Tattoos snaked up their necks. Chains glinted on the diner's fluorescent lights. The room tensed. Even Silas paused, momentarily startled. But these men weren't here for trouble. The leader, Bear they called him, was a mountain of a man with a graying beard and eyes that had seen too much. He scanned the room, his gaze landing on Lila, trembling in the booth, her lips split, her dress torn at the shoulder. Bear didn't say a word. He just walked over. Silas straightened, puffing out his chest. "This is a private matter. I suggest you move along." Bear looked him up and down, then at Lila's tear-streaked face. "Lady, you okay?" Lila shook her head, too scared to speak. That was all Bear needed. In one fluid motion, he grabbed Silas by the collar and hauled him out of the booth like he weighed nothing. "You hit a pregnant woman," Bear's voice was calm, but it carried the weight of thunder. "In front of witnesses? You think the world's scared of you." Silas sputtered. "Do you know who I am? I'll have your club shut down." Bear cut him off with a look that could freeze lava. "I don't care if you own the moon. You lay another hand on her, and you won't walk out of this diner." The other 2 bikers flanked Bear, arms crossed, silent but immovable. The room held its breath. For the first time, Silas looked afraid. He backed away, muttering threats under his breath, but his bravado was gone. He stormed out into the rain, leaving Lila alone, shaking, sobbing into her hands. Bear knelt beside her booth, his massive frame surprisingly gentle. "You're safe now, darlin'. We ain't going nowhere till you ready." Lila looked up at him, this stranger with ink on his skin and kindness in his eyes, and broke down completely. Bear signaled to the waitress, "Get her some warm tea and a blanket." As the staff sprang into action, something shifted in the diner. The trucker stood up. "I saw everything," he said firmly. "I'll testify if she needs it." An elderly woman at the counter pulled out her phone. "I recorded it from the moment he walked in." One by one, the silent witnesses found their voices. Later, as Lila sat, wrapped in a borrowed flannel shirt, sipping tea with Bear beside her, she whispered, "Why did you help me?" Bear looked out the window where his bike gleamed under the streetlight. "My sister. She didn't make it out," he said quietly. "I couldn't save her, but maybe today I saved you." Tears welled in Lila's eyes. "Thank you." Bear nodded. "Justice don't always wear a suit, sweetheart. Sometimes it wears leather and rides steel." By dawn, Lila was safe in a shelter, Silas was under police investigation, and the video of the bikers defending her had gone viral. But more than that, a spark had been lit. People began talking. Neighbors checked on each other. Strangers spoke up. Because sometimes courage doesn't come from the powerful. Sometimes it rides in on a motorcycle, covered in scars, and stitched with grace. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe to ACA Storytales, because the world needs more heroes, especially the unexpected kind. Justice doesn't always wear a suit. Sometimes it wears leather and rides steel. Thanks for watching.